Jai Hind everyone. My name is Neeharika Tripathi. I am working as an assistant professor in Computer Science and Engineering Department at AKGEC, Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. Today I am going to discuss about web designing. It is a subject in Computer Science AIML department. So I will be taking the topic of Unit 2. My topic is HTML forms. So basically, I will be telling about the forms, what are the elements of the form, what are the basic attributes that are used in forms. So what is a form? Basically, what is a form? Form is the element that is used to collect the input from the user. Like form is a HTML element to collect input data with containing interactive controls. It provides facilities to input the text, numbers, email, password, and control fields such as checkboxes. Like we are when we are signing into our Google account or any other account, we fill a form. We fill a registration form is there, so we have to fill that form. So that form is sent to the server for the database connectivity for that for saving it on the over the internet. So form is a container that contains the input elements like text, email, number, radio buttons, submit buttons, etc. So forms are basically generally used for collecting the data from the user, as I said earlier also. So this is an example of a registration form. Here, first name, last name, nickname. So these are all the, I have written the text here, and the boxes, these are known as the text boxes. So we will be I will be telling about how these text boxes are drawn and what is a radio button, what is a submit button, and what is a reset button. So taking the reference of this registration form, I am going to start with my topic. So what is a form? Forms are created by placing input fields within the, we can use paragraphs, you can use heading tags, you can use lists, you can use tables to write the forms. Whatever when we are going to create a form, it will be written in the form tag. That is form open and the form close. That means it is a container element because it has both opening as well as containing. So it is a container element. Now, what are the various form elements we will be using in the creating the form? First is basically what we have to do whenever we have to write any form, create a form, we have to write form tag, and then we have to write any of the element. I can write label, I can write input, I can write button, and I can write select also. I will be telling about all these options in the in my next slides. So what are the other form elements? Text area, field set, legend, data list, output, option. So these text area, we will be discussing all these. So what is a text area? Before that, I want to discuss about what is a label. It defines a label. Basic, for example, like in this registration form, first name here, first name is the label because it is writing the it is writing the name of the, it will simply work as a paragraph, or it can be written in the heading tag, any tag it can be written, but we are writing it in the label tag. So it is a part of the label tag. Then next, input. Now here input, it is used to get the input data from the form in various types. So it is used to it gets the input. Like if I write here input, then after writing the input, I will write type. Here type will decide what I am going to draw in the input box. Like it can be a text box, it can be a passport, it can be a text box for writing the passwords, for writing the email. All these are contained in the input box, input button. Then next is the button. So what is a button? Button is basically, it is used to call any event. So whenever I click a button, it can be a submit button, it can be a reset button, or any other button. So basically it will perform some action. So we can say it defines a clickable button to control the other elements. For example, if I am clicking on a button and it is going to open a new page. So this is an example of a button. Select. Now select keyword, select element is used to create a drop down list. When if I am filling a registration form here in this example, No, there is no list boxes there. So if I am taking an example of like if we are filling any registration form and we are going to fill our qualifications, and then it can be written like this: 10th, you are writing 12, 4, 5 list items are there. So this is a select option. When we want to create a drop-down list, we use the select keyword. Then form element. So other form elements are there. Now text area. There is a difference between the text area and the text box. So basically it is used to get the input for long text content. So we will be discussing it in our next slide. A field set. Field set is basically used to draw a boundary line in the form element. Now legend. Legend basically it is used to name the field set. We will be discussing all these. Option, op group, all these will be discussing. Now, what are the, if I am writing, I said that form, basically, we have to write everything in the form element. When we are going to create a form, any registration form or anything, it will be written in the form, within the form tag. It has some attributes. Like it has attribute. Now, look, what are the attributes? The methods. So, methods are what will be the method I am going to submit when which method I am going to use when we are submitting the form. Now, submit. Submit means there is a button in the end, that is a submit button, that is used to send the data to the server. So, method is it will define which method we are going to use when we are submitting any form. Next is the action. Now, action is like when what will happen, now method and action. Method means which method will be used, and the action will describe what will happen or where the form will go up when we have clicked the submit button, because in the end there is a submit button in a form. So that is used to submit the form, that is used to send the data to the server. Now, autocomplete. Autocomplete option is same as like when we are filling any form or any data on the internet, we get in our mobile phone, we get some like autocomplete option is there. So automatically the data will be filled. You don't need to enter that data. So that is the use of autocomplete option. Now, no validate. Now there is a different validation. Validation is used to check whether whatever the entries we are going to fill, we have filled in the correct appropriate order or not. Like if I am saying that I have written the name of I have written first name, and after that a text box is there. I am writing the text there, but in place of text I have written a number over there. So it will be if I put any validation, so that will be not, that text will not be accepted. Basically, validations are used to check check whether the inputs are being used, whatever the input the user has taken, it is right or not, it is in the appropriate order or not. So no validate feature, it will not validate the form, it will not validate anything, or like it cannot validate form, text box, password box, nothing will be validated here. Name, basically name is used to identify, like if I am writing the name of the form, it will identify which form is there. For example, if I have written form, name is equal to registration form. So it will be a registration form. Anything. Now, methods. What are the methods that are used in submitting the form? First is the get method and the post method. Now, get method, it is the default method that we use to submit the form. Now, submitted form will be, now what is the difference between a get and the post? Basically, get method, whenever we are writing any information in the text box, it will be sent over, like it will be seen on the address field of the web browser. So that is the get method. Now here the length is also fixed, like it is limited to about 3000 characters. And also it is not safe. Obviously, it will not be safe if we are writing any personal information of username and password. if we are writing, it is not used, because it will display everything on the web browser, on the address field, so it will not be safe. So for that we use the post method. There is no length limit, there is no limit to writing the data. In the post method, it will display the content, it will display whatever the output will, it will not be displayed, it will be in the whatever we are writing in the address field or the on text field, it will be displayed in the it will not be displayed, it will be displayed in the encrypted form. Now, what is the encrypted form? Encrypted form, like whatever the information we are sending over the internet, it is in the form of the secret codes. So, those secret codes are the encrypted codes. So, the data, whatever when we are using the post method, the data will be sent to the internet or to the server in the encrypted form. It is a safe method. So, I can show you in the next slide, there is an example. Now, here in the get method, I can see here I have written what is HTML. So, what is HTML? In the web browser, in the text field, here we can see in the address field, it is written there. What is HTML? What is HTML? It is shown here. So, it is a get method. Here, it is an example of a get method. Like here, I have written a password. If I write password here this is a post method. Like if I write password here, it will not be shown on the, now here I can see what I have written password. It will not be shown on the address field of the browser. So, we can say it is the post method. Now, the action attribute. ये इरेज करना है इसको. अच्छा, बस ऐसे टच करना है. ठीक है. Now, action. Now, action, I have told in the starting that method is used to send when we want to send the data to the server, in which way it will be sent. So, there are two methods, get method and the post method. In the same way, next is the action attribute. What is the purpose of action attribute? Action attribute, it will send whatever the data, it will be sent over what will happen if we have if we have pressed the submit button or we have submitted the registration form, what will happen? So, here we can see an example. So, action attribute defines the action to be performed when the form is finished. So, normally the form data is sent to a web server when the user clicks on the submit button. Basically, the submit button is used to send the data to the server. It is the by default button. We have to add in the, like if I write here input type is equal to submit, it will automatically submit the button. Now here there is an example, form action is equal to, here the reference of the page is given. So it is the page that is written in the PHP language. PHP is basically a dynamic language that is used for database connectivity. That is used, it is a server side language because it sends the data to the server. But HTML is a client-side scripting language. It is not a dynamic language. It is a static language because the data is not sent to the server every time we are going to we are going to send the information to the server. Now, what is the autocomplete? Autocomplete means it will automatically fill the data when we are on the form. It will automatically fill if we have turned on the autocomplete button. So, there are two options for auto completion. It will either be it is on or it can be off. So, it is by default, it is on. We can turn it off. So, if we have turned it off, then it will not send any information to the server. It will not automatically fill the data. Now, basically, here we use the automatic autocomplete button in the text box, search box, like text box, like if I write any first name or my name, anything if written, so it will be displayed, it will automatically, we get search results. Like if if I'm writing my name here, like Neeharika, it will display, it will show, you can see in the drop down list that that name will be displayed over there. So you can simply fill that name, you don't need to enter that name, you don't need to write again and again. So but if I turn it off, there will no suggestions will be there, no suggestions will be seen. Now no validate feature. No validate feature means, I told that validations are used to check whether we have entered whether the user has entered any queries or anything on the text box or any other in the form are true or not. So no validate feature, it will not check anything, it will not validate the form, it will not check whether the form entries are right or not. Now next is the name attribute. Name attribute, I told that name is used to define the name of the form. Basically they are used when we have lot of forms and we want to differentiate which form is this and which form is that. So basically for that we use the name attribute. Now coming on to the how, after that what will happen if I write after form, what is the next thing I have to do? Now form, the HTML input element. Now input element, the input element is the most used. It is without the input element we cannot think of writing any text box, any password box or any email box. Nothing can be shown in the input box. So input element is the most common element that is used in the form element. So it is displayed in many ways depending upon the, now here there are many ways. It will be displayed, how it will be displayed. If I write here form, then I write input, then type. Now in the type attribute, we can add the values, like it can be text, it can be password, it can be email, it can be color, it can be date, it can be radio, it can be checkbox, and so on. Many many other are also there. So these are the type values of the type attribute. Now next is the what are the other inputs. Type, basically it will define the which element we are going to use. It can be a text box, it can be a password box or any other, like I have mentioned the names here. Now name, as in the form also, it gives the name of the form, it will define the name of the form. Now in the same way, in the input element, it will tell the identify which element is, which input element is there. Now value is indicates the value that the input element sends to the server upon submission. Means if I have written here, like I have not written anything, value, if I write here value is equal to hello, this value will be sent to the server. Whatever value, if I have written value here, hello, it will be sent directly to the server. But if I have not written anything here, the user can also enter the name of the person. Next is the size. The size attributes the specify what will be the length of the characters, how many characters we are going to take. So based on the, basically it will define the width or height of the input box. Now max size defines the number of characters. For example, if I have taken a text box and I want to write the name of a person, and it should not exceed up to 30 characters. So I can write max length, it will specify that maximum 30 characters will be entered but after the 30 characters, the form will not submit anything, any data, any text in that text box. So that is the use of max length function. We can see here the use of the text element in the input box. So first name, now here first name is used in the label tag. It is a label tag, label, and I will close the label after the first name. Then input type is equal to text, name is equal to fname, size means the box size, and br basic. The purpose of break tag is used to take the text to the, move the text to the next line. So this is the output of my text box, my input box, input the text element. So next is this is a simple text box. Here I have taken input type is equal to text. If I want to write here password, I want to add another element like password. I am writing here password. Now, what is the purpose of this password box? Why do I need it? And then I will write input type is equal to password, name is equal to, I'm writing the name here as pwd, and then size is equal to anything I can write. I am writing here 25. So that is now here what will happen? A text box will automatically, a text box will be created, and when I enter any text in this box, the text will be displayed in the form of dots or asterisks, any. Basically, it is used to hide the characters. The password box is used, we use password box, like password, whenever we enter a password in any of the form, we cannot see we cannot see what we are writing. The users cannot see. So the data will be encrypted, or it will be in the dotted form. So input type is equal to password is used to hide the characters, whatever the characters we are writing. Now I told about the label element. So label is used for many form elements. What is the purpose of this? So it helps the users who has difficulty clicking on very small regions, such as radio buttons or checkbox. So it will basically it will be displayed after the radio button or any checkboxes, because they are very small in size. So whenever there is a difficulty, we use the label element. So next is the radio button. Now radio button is used to, basically it is a type of an element, or it is a button that is used to accept only single input from the user when we have multiple options. Like whenever we are giving any online exam, and we have multiple options are there, but we have to, in that exam we have to select only one option. So we use the radio element. There is a difference between a radio and the checkbox element. That I will be discussing after this slide. So usually it is found in a group of actions. Only one radio button in a group can be selected. At one time, only one button is selected. Selecting one radio button deselects the other. So if we are selecting one radio button, it will automatically deselect the other element. Okay? Each radio button within a group should have the same name and different values. It should have a same name. The name should be same in the value, the name should be same as that of the values in the label button. Now checked attribute. Checked attribute, it will be displaying, it will show the by default which button is selected. By default which will be automatically selected. Like here, input type is equal to radio, name is equal to gender. Now I can write another also. Now here name of both the buttons should be same here. If I have taken two buttons, toward all the buttons, it should be the same name. Otherwise, the form will not be, and otherwise, this tag will not work. So, every time the form name should be same. Value is equal to any value we can take. Here, we can see here a checked attribute is used. Now, here check means it will, by default, it will select the female button. In the output box, we can see here the female button is by default selected. Now, next is the checkbox. Now, checkbox are used when we have more than one options. When we want to select the more than one buttons, we use a checkbox. Each checkbox should have same name and different values. It should have same name and value should be different. Name should, as in this radio button also, the name was same. In the same way, in the checkbox also, the name will remain same. Checked attributes, it will work same as in the radio button. But the difference between a radio button and a checkbox is that a radio button allows only one selection, but a checkbox can be used to select more than one option. It allows more than one options to be selected at a time. Now, submit button. What is submit button? And in the end, when we are, whenever we have filled any form, we have to click on the submit button. It will automatically submit the form. It will send the data to the server. Now, data is sent to the page specified in the, now, if I have written form, then action is equal to any page. Any page in my HTML folder by website, then when I am submit input type is equal to submit, I click on the submit button, it will automatically send the data to that page. So basically the file, or you can say it is a form handler. It is used to handle the form. Defines the action attribute or uses something within the received input. Value attribute changes. Now here by default the value is, by default the button will be submit button. It can be also be changed. We can change the value of the submit button. It can be login. It can be okay, press okay. Any button value can be there. So here if I write input type is equal to submit, automatically a submit button will be created. And here after type we can write also, if I write here value is equal to login, so it will show the value as login. It will display login in place of submit. In the same way, a reset button is there. Now reset button is used to clear all the values. To basically it clears whatever the user had entered the information. It will not be sent to the server. It will be automatically erased. All the values will be erased. We can also, in the same way, value attributes changes the value that is displayed on the button. Now text area. There is a text box and then a text area. Now in the text box only one line of characters are there. Limited length is there. But in the text area, we can, when we want to write more than one line or more than more characters, or we can write a paragraph, we want to write a paragraph, so we can use a text area. Basically here in the text area, more than one lines are there, multiple lines are there, so we can use the enter button in the text area. But in the text box we cannot use the enter button because it is limited to only one line. So it inserts a scrollable text box into a form for entering the multi-line text. It is commonly used in situations where you ask for information that may require multiple sentences, because for example we are writing any comment. So comment is an example of a text area button. We control the dimension of the text area by using the rows and column attributes. So rows and columns can be used. Rows means these lines like this. We can change, we can set accordingly. Now this is an example of a text area, like here text area name is equal to message, rows means 5 rows are there. Now we can see this output. Now what is a list box? Like I have started told in the starting that a list box is used to select a create a drop down list. A tag is there that is used to create a drop down list. Now here select then include name attribute is there. In the same way select name is equal to. Now first item by default, now there are multiple elements are there. By default the first element will be selected, but if I want that that the third element should be selected. So if I write here select, now select, then size is equal to, now size will define how many number of list option will be displayed at a time. Now, next is the, we can use to, there is a size has defined like 4, 5, anything, by default how many list item will be selected at a time. If we want to select more than one values, then we can write here multiple attribute. Now, for example, here select name is equal to cards, option selected. Now, here option selected means by default the BMW will be, this first option will be selected. I can select, I can write here also, but like if I want to select this option, it will be by default selected, but I have to write selected here in plus. I have to write here, selected here. So this was all about forms. I hope you like this video. Thank you very much.